Good morning. Please go to page 183. We're about halfway down the page. Macbeth is still clinging to the promises of the apparitions, even though Birnam Wood has already literally marched up to the Castle Dunsinane. Macbeth has just killed young Seward, and he says, "Thou wast born of woman, but words I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man that's of a woman born." Okay, uh, and Macduff has come through and said, remember, if I am to use my blade, I'm going to use it on nobody but Macbeth. If I do not kill Macbeth, if I'm not the one to kill Macbeth, then I will just resheath my blade unbattered, unused. Okay? So now young Seward comes through. I'm sorry, old Seward comes through. Enter Malcolm and Seward. "This way, my lord, the castle's gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight."
"This way, my lord. The castle's gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours, and little is to do." "We have met with foes that strike beside us." "Enter, sir, the castle."
Okay, so the castle is gently rendered. The castle is easily not just overtaken, but the castle is easily given up. And now the people who they were fighting against are fighting beside them because, again, they were not loyal to Macbeth. They were fighting for their job only. Once they realized they could jump ship and be safe with Malcolm, they went for it. They jumped sides. So now we have scene 8. Macduff on page 185. Scene 8. Macduff finds Macbeth, who is reluctant to fight with him because Macbeth has already killed Macduff's whole family and is sure of killing Macduff too if they fight. When Macduff announces that he is not, strictly speaking, a man born of woman, having been ripped prematurely from his mother's womb, then Macbeth is afraid to fight. He fights with Macduff only when Macduff threatens to capture him and display him as a public spectacle. Macduff kills Macbeth, cuts off his head, and brings it to Malcolm. With Macbeth dead, Malcolm is now king and gives new titles to his loyal supporters. Page 185, scene 8.
"Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword? Whilst I see lives, the gashes do better upon them. Turn, hellhound, turn. Of all men else I have avoided thee. But get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already." "I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out."
Fight.
"Thou losest labor. As easy mayest thou the entrenchant air with thy keen sword impress as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born." "Spare thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped." "Accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believe that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee." "Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole, and under it, here may you see the tyrant." "I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Birnam Wood be come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, 'Hold! Enough!'"
Okay, so they're fighting. Macbeth is slain. Macduff exits, carrying off Macbeth's body. They retreat and flourish. They enter, and then Malcolm, Seward, Ross, Thanes, and soldiers will enter with the drum and colors. But I just want to go back for a moment to the um, line 23 through 24. The juggling fiends no more believe that palter with us in a double sense. Again, that double meaning is referenced here. And Macbeth is realizing what Banquo guessed at very early on, and that the witches were dealing, or the weird sisters were dealing with them in a double sense, that something could sound great but be a curse at the same time. So we go on now to line 40.
I would the friends we miss were safe arrived. Some must go off, and yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought. Macduff is missing, and your noble son. Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died. Then he is dead. Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end. Had he his hurts before? Aye, on the front. Why then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have heirs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his knell is known. He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him. He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score, and so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Enter Macduff with Macbeth's
Hail,
head.
King, for so thou art. Behold, where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland! We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen, henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour named. What's more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought by self and violent hands, took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us, by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.
So that is the end of Macbeth, both the person and the story. When Malcolm is saying his, giving his appreciation to his thanes and to all the people who fought, um, he is pronouncing the end of the evil that has plagued Scotland. And he references Macbeth, he references the fiend like queen. And he says that at this point, everybody will go with him to see him crowned at Scone. And that is it. So please give your attention to Ms. Lynn, who's going to direct you to your assignment.